Well, welcome to Off the Ranch. My name is Matt, and we got something cool to show you guys today. It's a fire truck. Check this thing out. Stewart and Stevenson. It's 2.5 ton. For those who don't know, I haven't showed the fire truck much, so I'm gonna give you a little recap. This thing was actually used as a brush truck, which is basically an off-road fire truck in a fire station in, I think, Louisiana? Question mark? It was a different state, not Texas. And I bought it from him a while back to make it our fire truck. And I made it our fire truck, but there were some things that we did on generation 1 of this thing that I didn't like that much. Let me show you what we got going on over here. I mounted a pump here, and it actually works really good because it's up. There's a perfect spot for it right there. It's up high, so this thing, the whole reason you have off-road fire trucks is for putting out fires off-road, which my entire ranch is off-road. And so I wanted something that can drive through brush, go over ravines and stuff like that with no problem, so I can get to a fire should there be one, because all of my property is wooded like this, and if there was a fire, a real fire truck could not get to it. So I kind of was like taking it into my own hands. Plus I needed a reason to tell my wife why I needed to buy this truck, so that was part of it as well. She doesn't watch my videos, so I don't have to worry about her seeing that. But first I bought this big 500-gallon white tank. It's one of those like big cylinder looking tanks, and it sat up about like right here, this tall, and it was all right there. So the weight was between the two wheels, but it kept that water so high that when I drove around, I could feel like the whole truck leaning. And I was like, man, if I have to go down an incline or on a little hill or something, it would stink if there's a fire and then I just roll my fire truck. So I ordered this tank, and you can see it's nice and flat. It's also 500 gallons, but it's low. So it keeps the center of gravity lower, which you need because this thing already has a high center of gravity because it's an off-road truck. But it keeps all that weight. It's like 4,500 pounds. When that thing is full of water, 4,500 pounds. Keeps it all right there. So you've seen this before, but you haven't seen it hooked down. Also, we got a hose reel right there, which looks pretty cool. It is now bolted down as well. This thing is called a loaf tank because it has these little separations right here, and it's where you will put straps. So I actually reached out to my welder friend, Brandon, and Brandon from CB Welding came over here, and he welded these little plates onto that, and then he made these little brackets, which I just thought it'd be flat sheet steel. He got it out of square tubing, so it's actually really strong, and these things in 3 different places around here hold on the tank so it won't slide around. So you can see how it bolts in so that we can easily, if we ever need to move it, take it out, whatever, we can. So this thing is in for good. Now, that thing is in, so now we need to run plumbing from the tank down to the pump, up to the hose reel so we can put out fires. But before we do that, I wanna make sure that this is good. So I'm actually going to fill up the tank and drive it around. I've never driven around with a totally full tank. When I had the other tank, I had it like half full, and I could tell it was just way too much weight moving around. So I'm gonna fill this thing all the way up today with a hose, which is gonna take like an hour. And then we're gonna go off-roading in the fire truck and see how she handles. Oh, it's so tall. See how she starts. Come on, girl. I probably should start it every once in a while. Keep her good. Oh yeah, we're solid. The beeping will turn off as soon as my air tanks fill up. 1 second. Much better. Air tank's full. Let's do it. I still have yet to cut down this tree. You guys told me, Matt, you can't cut it a little bit and bend it. You gotta actually just chop it all the way down. So we're gonna cut it down. I just haven't wanted to do it. I feel bad. It's a big tree, and I like big trees. But yeah, we're gonna chop it down. Now we fill it up. So in the future, I also am going to try to rig up a way to fill this thing faster, because I still have that white tank. It'd be cool if the white tank was just sitting on the ground full of water so I could, dump this, because this tank will empty in about 10 minutes with that pump. If I'm actually spraying on a fire, it takes about 10 minutes and this thing is empty. It'd be nice if I could go fill up again, because this will take over half an hour to fill up with a water hose. But if I use my pump, I can do it in like 10 minutes. Anyway, we'll be back in a little bit as this thing fills. While we wait, it's time. It's time to see if the El Chromino will actually turn on. We need to move it out of here. It's just been in storage for, well, you guys saw when I put it in there. It's probably, maybe 2 months ago. So it's been sitting in here, and we had all this thing piled with a bunch of stuff too until our barn was built enough to move vehicles in there. And so we just dug out everything in here, and now I need to see if El Chromino will start. And El Chromino's been sitting for a while. with no starting. Let's see what we got. We've got power. Can we get a little spark? Yes! So good. I missed the spark. Mission accomplished. That took like an hour probably, which is not good if you have more fires to put out. Luckily, we're just going off-roading. So in the future, I'm gonna get a way to fill this thing up in like 10 minutes and not an hour, which would be very good. But we have 4,500 pounds of water. It's like kind of bulging a little bit on the back of the fire truck right now. Let's see how she handles. Let's see what we got. I mean, this thing's made to tow a ton of weight. I don't anticipate it being like super duper hard to drive around on flat ground at least. And so this tank also doesn't have any baffles in it. So if I was gonna do it perfectly, which I will eventually, I need to put some baffles in the tank just to keep the water from splashing. So like when I hit the brakes, you'll feel a wall of water come up and smash you. And you accelerate, you'll feel the water pull back. So I'm gonna hit the brakes real quick. Get up. Feels fine. All right, brake. Sweet. And I don't feel any pulse from water, but it's because that tank's full. If it was half full, you'd probably feel that big wave come up and smack. And this is pretty good. Just try a little more, and then we'll take it off-road. Well, we are off-road. We'll take it up some hills, some hilly roads. We're in two-wheel drive right now. I'm gonna go up this hill, see how it does. Pulling 4,500 extra pounds. I mean, this truck's big and heavy anyway. Two-wheel drive up the hill. We got no slipping tires right now. Try to not fall off the hill because there's a decent cliff over here. Oh yeah. So this is actually the hill that I took it up with the big tank where I realized I was leaning a lot. Oh, that branch needs to be cut. Hello. All's fine. All right, that was a good test though because I totally stopped on the hill and then started again. That did it super easily. Did not feel the weight. Man, maybe I should have got two tanks back there. We're at the pond now. Not only is this hill angled, it's very steep. I'm gonna drive it down into the pond and then see if I can drive it back up out of the pond. That is probably the steepest hill we will ever do on this property, and it just did it in two-wheel drive. Like freaking beast mode, went up that hill, no problem. And like theoretically we wouldn't have to even do a hill this steep because there's a different way around. I went up the steepest part of it. I think we have a very capable fire truck here. I'm gonna drive it around a little more, but I'm super happy with the way this turned out. I was worried it would feel like real top heavy again. Also, we should go check it and make sure that those straps held good, because that's another thing. I just want to make sure that like everything stays in place while we're doing steep and crazy fast stuff like that. I don't know what I was looking for. I just kind of wanted to make sure these didn't look like they were being pulled in a direction. But the way this is set in here, it can't go side to side because it's locking it down, and they would hit this. If the tank started sliding, which if you think about it, it has 4,500 pounds of weight pushing it down against this bed, so it probably wouldn't want to slide too much anyway. But it also has 3 spots on each side that lock it in from moving. So I think we got a solid system here. Good job, Brandon. Way to go. That's awesome. And now we just need to make it an actual fire truck that sprays water. Oh, I didn't even think. There's no way for me to even empty this tank right now. There's not a drain on this thing. It just has the filler at the top because you have to drill a hole to put a drain. And I'm not going to drill the hole yet because I don't know where I'm going to put that. So it's just going to have water in it for a while now until I can get this thing plumbed. Cool. Call that pinstriping. This is why we have an off-road fire truck. For times like these, when there's fires in the forest, let's really send it. All right, we're doing like 15, 20 miles an hour. Oh my God. Why would I not just trim these trees first? I could have trimmed the trees. We could go down the range. That's actually probably the steepest hill on the property. I would not go up it, but I would go down. Oh. Yeah, we're doing it. It's just right down there. Doesn't look that bad on camera. It'll be fine. Safety first. See, Mayor? I'm safe. Everything's fine. The thing you don't want to do is go down crooked. That's how you get in big trouble. Cameraman, you can get out now if you want. You in?
I mean, I think I'm in.
Woo, I can't see the ground. We're going now. Dude, it got squirrely. You feel that? That's some good stuff. Okay, we're not doing that again, Mayor. It was an accident. I thought that was a different road. Now we're down on the gun range. My bad. Let's go out and look at this thing and see how the pinstriping looks though. Woo! We just came down that hill and it did fine. We will never go down that hill in an actual emergency situation. Let's go up. I'm just kidding. No, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're shutting it down. Fire truck is good to go. We're leaving it right there. All right, we're gonna do a hard brake. Here we go. Slamming on the brakes right now. Got her done, dude. Freaking got her done. I mean, sirens requirement, even on the ranch, where we don't actually have to warn that there's an emergency vehicle coming through, but it's about safety here. We're all about safety on the ranch. I forgot to put the lid on it. I actually just wanted to see what it would do. That was pretty cool. All that splashing, and we only lost like an inch of water off the top. Heck yeah. This thing also doesn't seal very well. Sorry, which is fine. Soon we're gonna actually pipe this thing and make this thing into a real life fire truck, which is gonna be sweet. It's one of those projects I've just put off for a long time. And I'm trying to get it wrapped up so we have a functioning fire truck, because sometimes we do things with fire and I don't want to burn the ranch down. Mayor would be not pleased. So that truck, like I said, is a 2.5 ton. It's a deuce and a half, which means it can hold 5,000 pounds in the bed. Now, for those who don't know what that means, this truck is a Ford F-350 dually, and it is considered a 1-ton truck, which means it can hold 1 ton in the bed, 2,000 pounds. So if you put 5,000 pounds in the bed, like if you put that water tank full in the bed of this truck, bad things would happen. It would, for one, just be squatted way down, which the fire truck, I couldn't really even tell it squatted. It probably did, but it has so much travel that you couldn't tell. And then it would squat all the way down, probably would break a lot of things on your drive line, bust your rear end, bust some springs, bust some shocks, that kind of thing if I tried to move around. And then, like, you know, brakes wouldn't work very good and all that kind of stuff. So that just kind of shows you that I drove that fire truck around and it had no problem tugging around that weight. It's made to do that. It's just pretty cool. 5,000 pounds is a lot, and you couldn't really tell that it had 5,000 pounds on it, which is crazy. Just got home. I'm gonna go hit up a workout, so I'm gonna get my Link Active on so that I look super good while I'm getting super healthy, and I'm gonna be back with you guys in a minute. But you'll probably notice, I mean, just like, check me out now, and then get ready to see how buff I am in a second. We actually are stopping by Holden Bros over here because I have 2 vehicles here. One of them you don't know about. Well, you know about it. You don't know that it's here. So we just arrived. God, these guys are always so busy. Ugh, they do good work. So everybody wants to be here all the time. But my Toyota is broken. First up, ranch tang. What up, Steven? What do you have? Oh my gosh.
This here's our radiator.
That's beautiful. So Holly sent this over.
Yes.
Frostbite.
Yep.
Who is owned by Holly, as far as I understand. They sent us this radiator, which, is this made for diesels or just anything? Obviously it's anything, but.
Actually, I think it's for a 67 to 72 F250 with the 390.
Okay.
Is what the part number is.
All right, giddy up.
And so it's
Oh, there's so much more room here than I thought there would be.
It's gonna sit.
Yeah, with the core support chopped out, there's quite a bit left.
Yeah, we don't need no core support.
They sent us some cool fittings to TIG weld onto this thing too,
Oh,
and some
sweet.
Earl's line,
So we can get it going exactly where we need it to go.
Exactly. We're gonna
Heck
cut
yeah.
some of the other coolant stuff out, like the heater core bib and stuff like that. We're gonna plug it up and just use the bare minimum.
I'm not gonna have heat? Oh man.
But you will have AC.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the window's down. We have AC.
260 or whatever you want to call it.
Sweet, dude, that's gonna be awesome. What year is this again? It was a 2005. Yeah,
Yes.
This one had EGR and all that stuff, right? So,
It did.
so do we delete that now?
We currently still have an EGR, and to be honest, until it grenades,
We were thinking it would
just
be
leave
kind of,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just leave it for
Okay.
the haters and the lovers.
Heck yeah.
that way we're a mission present.
Yeah, we're really cognizant about the environment over here.
That's right.
That's what this car is all about,
Eco-friendly.
for sure.
Be free, hug a tree.
Ooh, Holly got us some swag.
For me and Willie.
Wait, they didn't say me anything?
You can have Willie's.
Perfect. Sorry, dude.
AN fittings.
Oh my gosh, those are huge.
And-
I've never seen
and-
any that big.
Yeah, for the radiator.
That's awesome.
So these will weld these onto the radiator and onto the motor,
Yep.
and then there's that.
This is all ranch tang stuff here.
Yep. Here's a,
Dude, look at those
there's a
things.
fan.
How many fans? Just one?
Two.
Couple?
Yeah, the shroud's actually in that box over there, and that bolts on to the
Oh,
radiator.
sweet. Heck yeah.
Yep. More fittings, depending how we want
Nice.
to run it.
When I turned the camera off over here, we started talking about other stuff. You think there's room for the intercooler and everything to go up there?
It certainly looks like it, man. We haven't got an official measurement.
Yeah,
but
we
it
got.
looks like it might
We haven't
just
like
fit.
put everything back in there to figure out if it fits, but
Yeah,
Hose.
hoses, nice. God, this thing's gonna look clean.
it's gonna look clean.
Woo!
Yeah,
She gonna be clean. Look at that thing.
Yeah. So
nothing more deserving.
All right, look at that gas tank. Diesel
set
tank.
this thing on the.
Has that got a sticker on the front? So it's
Yeah,
so that
That's how you quick disconnect the air hose. If you need.
was me. Oh yeah,
It'll need trimmed for the next.
cut it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be awesome. Tons of
I
room.
can't believe how much clearance that thing actually has.
I know. We should have got a bigger motor.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So we are under the back of the car right now and looking at all this rust in the frame. So this is where that shackle hooks in to the frame, and you can see it's just totally rusted out. So that thing's barely hanging on back there. And I drove this thing here.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah, you guys did a burnout.
Yeah.
Where's your burnout marks? Right there.
Yes.
And here. You guys did a burnout, and somehow that rear end didn't fall out.
You know, it was hilarious when we were filming it. We didn't actually put it on there. It got edited out. And Steven goes, when he got done, he goes, dude, when it hit second gear, something made a really bad noise. Like it shifted under the back of the car.
Something bad's happening.
I think it had to do
So
with
that thing was just going pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure. So that needs a little work.
Yep.
They did cut out the floorboards back here. The gas tank was back here. Y'all took the gas tank out, right? It's gone?
Yeah, we did.
So we're going to put that little bitty fuel tank in.
Yep.
And they're working on figuring out how we're going to connect the frame all together. And it's because this thing's flimsy already. It's not made for this much torque. And we need it to be much tougher. So they're going to... Here, yeah, just tell me what you're gonna do. He just told me off camera.
We got this one transmission crossmember welded in and plated up the sides so that we got a really good bite, because a lot of the sheet metal in here isn't the best.
What?
We're gonna do the same thing right here with another crossmember that'll also act as a dry shaft loop.
Yep.
We're gonna need a roll cage main hoop here
Yep.
for the harnesses to tie off. And then we're gonna tie into the back of the car, off the cage, down through here, into something back here that's strong once we get rid of this
Take
stuff.
out the stuff that's not strong.
That isn't very good to weld to or anything, so.
At a certain point, we got to put the car up in the air also, and
Yep.
we're gonna have to look at like what we can do on the bottom side. We may just do something really basic down there, like some square tubing or like maybe some 1x2 to tie the front box into the back box and into the rest of that stuff, just to try to keep it as square as humanly possible, because it's gonna get abused a little bit, I'm thinking.
What a fantastic automobile.
Yeah, should rename it Patches.
We're just looking at this, and the more you look, the more you shake your head. These weird little pieces are riveted and tack welded on, which is strange. There's a bunch of bolts here, which we were like, What is that? What is that?
It goes to a piece of like 1-inch galvanized strap that's sandwiching the subframe that's rusted off. It's sandwiching it all together. So that's why you see
They just
12
didn't
or
make it over
14
to that
bolts.
side yet.
Yeah, they
No,
did.
this one was just rivet.
This one's
rivet
held
pack.
together with rust. Rear end, we're not doing anything on the rear end besides just welding that diff right now, right? Isn't that the
We're
plan?
gonna drop the third member out of that thing. Yeah, basically we're gonna make sure that the bearings don't fail and like you lose an axle shaft in a tire. So
Yeah.
worst case, maybe some outer bearings on it, but drop the third member out of this thing and link and lock it.
Cool. Perfect plan. So the Toyota is here as well. And you guys might be like, Matt, you got the Toyota running. It was running so good. It wasn't. It was for like 2 days, and then it broke again, and I was like, I don't know. So I brought it here. And basically it was just like not idling well. It was like putting. It was like blah, 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 blah. I'm just barely idling. Has it ran good or bad for you guys when you mess with it?
Really cold morning, it actually ran better.
Yeah.
But it's definitely still stumbling around.
And it's
stuff.
hard to start, right?
Yes.
It takes a long time to start.
Yes.
Like it can't get fuel at first.
Yes. We had this thing running earlier this morning to pull it around here and pull it in, so we can't recreate that for you, but we can fire it up and show you one of the bigger problems that was going on with the carburetor and something else that we found.
Let's
as
do
well.
it. Oh yeah, dripping fuel. Yeah, holy cow. That's not ideal.
How did you want your fire?
The only reason I think it's actually staying running right now is because we have several vacuum leaks, because these have like 10 miles of vacuum line. We had a few of them pulled off.
Gotcha.
But the other thing we noticed right off the bat was that the manifold on this side is leaking. And I don't think it's the collector
You
gasket.
can hear it.
Yeah, I think the manifold is actually cracked.
Yeah,
So-
like you can see like the
Oh yeah.
smoke kind of coming out of there.
Exhaust
Yeah.
coming out. Yep. So that actually was idling not great, but a lot better than when I brought it in here. It was barely running. It died 2 times on the drive here. It just needs to run good.
Yeah, and I think it's really going to. We've been talking to a couple different people about what we're going to do on the carb side, and we're probably going to put a Weber on it, like
Yep.
3236.
Talking to Scott from Holly.
Yep, Scott is a really cool dude. He's been very, very helpful. Reached out to him about it. He got right back with us, actually. On the manifold side, I remembered, Matt, you were saying, hey, even when it ran good, it didn't have very much power, and it was hard to pull overdrive.
Yep.
And I've had a few of these Toyotas too. We grew up with them, and so we're gonna do what we can without changing the cam and heads, and
Yeah, because I like how tame it is. Also, I like driving through town, and it's a tame, quiet little good running truck. When it's running good, it runs so good.
Right.
And so I don't need it to be.
Wild.
I've got loud, powerful trucks. I want this one to just be a good running little truck.
I think we're gonna do a Weber on that side, and on this side, we talked about doing a header on it.
Yeah. That would look cool. I assume you get rid of the heat shield if you have a header, right?
Yes.
That'll look pretty neat.
I don't know if there's a shorty one that'll actually bolt up to the collector. I think the one we looked at is a long tube, like a Tri-Y Doug Thorley or something like that. I forget the exact brand. But one that'll come down and collect at the backside, and that ought to give it a little bit of power. I would think, I don't know, 5 or 10 horsepower maybe.
Yeah.
A few
which is
foot-pounds of
a
torque.
lot when you have less than 100.
That's very
That'd be
true.
perfect.
That's a 5% gain.
And we're gonna fix the transmission. Actually,
Yeah, so that was the main issue because it was running, it just wasn't running great. But the transmission is super annoying.
popping out of first and reverse, right?
Yeah,
I
so
did that one
so it
already.
doesn't have power steering, and so like when you're going really slow, it's hard to turn. So you want both hands on the steering wheel, but it pops out of first, and so you have both hands on the steering wheel turning, and then it pops out of first, and then you're just like, and you're just like, and it's so annoying. So, but you think the whole like upper part of that transmission might need to
I
be?
think it's probably the shift tower, or it's like a detent inside the thing that's,
Yeah.
that's probably bad. But when we get it apart, we can look at all the bearings. I mean, Toyotas are super well built, so I doubt it's going to need much stuff at all. But if it's got a worn synchronizer or a bearing that's got some play or something,
Cool.
we should replace that stuff. That way it's
Too
straight
easy.
whenever you get it back.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So I told him I got this thing, and he was like, I have one, and you have 85.
2 of them, actually. I got an 81 and a 79.
Oh, you have older ones. I thought you had a newer one. Gotcha.
I had
These things are killer.
I had an 85 4Runner at one time, but I ended up getting rid of it.
Yep. All right, so soon this thing will be back on the road, looking beautiful. Filmed that last part with my iPhone because I forgot this camera, but I got my camera back. We're out here in the shop right now. Look at that! I'm gonna give you guys a more in-depth tour of that later. As you can see, it's almost done. Framers are buttoning it up, but we just cleared all this junk. It was all over there. We moved it all over here because this week, actually like 2 days from now, we are bringing something big in and doing a little install, which is going to be really cool. I'll just tell you, we're installing some lifts, but they're different kind of lifts than what you have seen so far. We have a bin pack 2-post lift that we haven't actually installed yet because we don't actually have power in this shop yet. And so we haven't been in a rush to do it, but we're getting power. It's happening. And so we have the bin pack lift we're gonna keep, but I'm getting 2 more lifts that are totally different than what you've seen with that 2-post lift. It's gonna be really cool. And we're building those in 2 days. And I want you guys to be there. I need your help, Demolitia. Can you please help me build these lifts? I don't wanna do it by myself. I need you guys. It's gonna be cool. So anyway, cleared that out, and you'll see why we got the El Chromino out and all that stuff very soon. Cars are coming together. I want you guys to go to the Cletus and Cars events for me. Screw that guy Cletus. No one even likes him. No one watches his video. He's not a good YouTuber at all. But me, I'll be there, and I want you guys to come out. We are going to be at Cletus and Cars in Florida coming up at the start of April, and then I will be at Cletus and Cars Indianapolis, which is May? I don't know. You have to look it up on the schedule. I can't remember when that one is, but I think it's in May. And we're doing Lowrider in Florida, and we're doing Ranch Tang in May in Indianapolis. Indy. It's gonna be freaking awesome. I want you guys to come out and show your support for the Demolitia. Thank you guys for being here on this episode of Off the Ranch. I love you, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, what camera is that? Number...
Shut up! Don't tell Mayor.